So when we start thinking about food processing, I think it's first important to think about in the processing side of the world, there's lots of different considerations. And the first thing I wanted to just raise awareness to is that there's the retail markets and the wholesale markets. And this is similar, I think, from the produce distribution side. But the licensing, there's different licensing required for these different entities. So when we're saying retail, this is restricting sales directly to the consumer, and they're inspected and licensed usually directly by the local boards of health. And so that it's usually small portion distributions, and the regulating rules are under the purview of what's called the food code. And I have a hyperlink here to explain or give you the resources of what the food code looks like. And so that can be for direct consumer as well as food service applications, prepared meals, etc. Then if we're looking to sell to wholesalers or retailers who will then sell direct to consumers, or if we're going to sell for industry applications or have business partners, these are all wholesale markets. And so wholesale operations, they can sell in a different, whether it be restaurants or retail stores, but they are inspected and licensed usually by your state boards of health. I lean more on I'm a Massachusetts girl, so I'm using Massachusetts as my example. So when we're talking about the wholesale processing side, we have two regulating bodies, the USDA, which is primarily responsible for meat and poultry, and then the FDA, which is, excuse me, basically regulating the processing of foods, of all other foods, except for meat and poultry. So it would include fish and dairy and juices and all the other types of value-added products. So now we have this retail wholesale thing. I wanted to kind of just see if we have a show of hands or in the chats of thinking of a great way to get into market channels is to produce some of these foods in your house. And so in order to do that, you can get certain licensing for wholesale distribution for this type of work. It's known as a residential kitchen license.